My phone was in my hand. I was standing in my kitchen. The water was boiling for pasta. Everything was normal. And then, my phone rang. I looked at the screen, and I stopped breathing for a second. Because the name on the screen was my name, the number on the screen was my number, every single digit. Exactly the same. My phone was calling me. I stared at it for 4 full rings. And then, I picked up. What happened after that still keeps me up at night. My name is Daniel. I'm 31 years old. I live alone in Columbus, Ohio. A normal city, a normal life. I work from home. I'm a systems analyst. That means I sit at a desk, look at spreadsheets, and drink a lot of coffee. Every day looks the same. Wake up at 6:45, make coffee, log on by 8. Eat lunch fast, usually pasta, because I don't pay attention when I eat. I have one good friend named Marcus. He works night shifts at a hospital. I have a sister in Portland. She calls on Sundays. That's my whole world. I'm a private person. I don't post on social media much. I keep my location turned off on my phone. I like my routine. It's quiet, it's safe, or at least I thought it was. It was a Tuesday afternoon. I had just finished a work report that took 3 weeks too long. I was finally relaxed. I was standing in my kitchen, wooden spoon in one hand, phone in the other, just checking the weather, like I always do. Then my phone buzzed incoming call. My name, my number. My first thought was, it's spam. Scammers can fake caller IDs, I knew that. I almost didn't pick up. But something made me answer. I said, hello? Silence. Not a dead silence, there was something there. Like the sound of a room, a quiet room, with someone in it. I said again, hello, who is this? More silence. Then, just before the call ended, I heard it. A slow breath, one long quiet breath through the nose, and then the line went dead. The call lasted 11 seconds. I put the phone down. I told myself it was nothing. I finished my pasta. I went to sleep. I should have left it there. 4 days later, Friday evening, around 7 p.m. I was on the couch watching a documentary about deep-sea fish. My phone lit up, my name, my number again. This time, my stomach dropped before my brain could explain it. I picked up. I said, I know you called me on Tuesday. Silence again. That same quiet room. That same feeling of someone, just standing there, listening. Then a voice, so low I almost missed it, a whisper. Barely there, it said, don't go in tomorrow. And the call ended. 23 seconds. I sat there frozen. The TV was still on. The fish were still swimming. Don't go in tomorrow. I work from home. I had nowhere to go tomorrow. What did that mean? I called my phone carrier that night. They said it was probably a spoofing scam. They said they'd look into it. They never called back. I woke up to my phone buzzing on the nightstand. 2:17 in the morning. I looked at the screen in the dark, my name, my number, glowing in the dark above my face. My hands were shaking when I picked up. I'll admit that, I said. Who are you? Long silence. Maybe 15 seconds, it said, you already know, and it hung up. 31 seconds. I didn't sleep the rest of that night. I just sat there with the lamp on, staring at those 4 words. You already know. I did not know, or that's what I thought. I became obsessed. I stopped focusing on work. I carried my phone everywhere. I barely slept. I kept going back to the call log. 3 calls, 3 dates, October 14th, October 18th, October 23rd. I stared at those dates and then it hit me. Like ice water poured down my back. October 14th, 2018, the day my father died. Heart attack, 57 years old, in our family kitchen. My mom found him when she came home. October 18th, 2018, the day of his funeral. October 23rd, 2018, the day we cleared out his house. I drove back to Columbus alone that night. I had to pull over twice on the highway because I was crying too hard to drive. The 3 worst days of my life, and someone, or something, was calling me on the exact same dates, 5 years later. I told myself it was coincidence. There are 31 days in October. The odds weren't impossible. I told myself that over and over, and then I found the voicemail. When the 3rd call came in at 2 a.m., my phone had auto-recorded 2 seconds before I picked up. I hadn't noticed. My friend Marcus found it 2 weeks later when I finally told him everything. He scrolled through my voicemails and said slowly, Dan, there's a voicemail, from your number, from that night. He handed me the phone. I held it to my ear, 2 seconds of audio, a room, a breath. And then, at the very end, just before the recording cut off, a word. Not Daniel, not Dan, a nickname. One that only my father ever used for me. A word I had not heard spoken out loud in 5 years. Marcus is a practical man. He works in an ER. He doesn't panic. He sat me down at my kitchen table with a legal pad and we went through everything. He asked me one question that changed everything. Who knows that nickname? I thought about it. My mom, my sister, a couple of aunts, and my ex-girlfriend, Claire. We dated for 3 years. We broke up 18 months ago. She knew my father. She was at his funeral. She was in the car with me that night on the highway when I had to pull over. She knew the nickname because my dad used it in front of her. More than once, Marcus asked. Does she still have her old number? She didn't. She had changed carriers about a year ago. Got a new number. Her new number was 1 digit off from mine. 1 single digit. A phone carrier technician explained it to me later. When 2 numbers are very close, issued from the same regional pool, there can be a routing error, a glitch. Under certain network conditions, a call she made to someone else could bounce incorrectly and ring through to me. I was hearing her calls, not calls to me, calls she was making to other people. By accident, through a broken signal. Don't go in tomorrow. She was saying that to someone in her life, about her tomorrow. The ambient silence. Just her room, her breath, while she waited for the other person to answer. The whisper, her voice, overheard through a wall of broken signal. The technician called it a routing collision. It had happened before in other cities, other carriers. It made sense. It explained everything. I told myself that and I almost believed it. 3 weeks after I got the explanation, I ran into Claire at a coffee shop. We talked for 4 minutes, awkward but polite. And just as we were about to leave, she paused. She looked at me. And she said, "Danny, have you been okay? Like actually okay?" She used the nickname out loud. Right there. I said I was fine. She nodded slowly and said, "I've been thinking about you lately. Around your dad's anniversary, I almost texted you." She almost texted, not called. She never called. I smiled and said thank you. We walked away. I sat in my car for a long time. Because if she never called anyone around those dates, then what was generating the signal bleed? I went back to the carrier. I asked them to check outbound call logs from her number around October 14th, 18th and 23rd. They said the logs from that far back were incomplete. They said, and I am quoting directly, "It is possible for ghost signal events to occur without a corresponding outbound call in the records. Possible." That was their word, possible. The calls stopped after October. November came. The phone went back to being just a phone. I set a timer for my pasta now so it doesn't overcook. I unpacked one of the boxes in my spare room. Routine came back, it always does. But I sleep with the ringer on now. I used to keep it on silent at night. Now I leave the volume up. And I've never been fully honest with myself about why. Part of me says it's because I don't want to miss an important call. But there's another part, a quieter part. The part that still knows that nickname in my father's voice. That part isn't afraid of the next call. That part is waiting for it.